Usomizi was not pleased with the aesthetic element of my presentation, and he expressed that much himself because he did not mince his words. Utenje mangenu vile was bonelanje a wooden mic contestant, and guys, that really hurt my feelings. Hey, like yay, I'm triggered. I got a good right to make me laugh and cry and dance and smile. You're my joy, my day, you are my life. Sanmonani, Dumelang, Absheni, Molweni, I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys are doing well. If you are new to my channel, then hello and welcome. But if you're already part and parcel of the family or just happen to be returning, then you know what it do. So I'm here today with the story time, and basically I'm going to be walking you guys through how I got rejected on Idols back in 2016 when I first auditioned, and I wanted to share this story because more than anything it was quite the experience. It was quite the experience. And secondary to that is that I realized that from the inception of my YouTube channel up until this point, I've been very impersonal, and I think that's kind of weird because music is something that's very personal to me, and I mean very, very personal. But I can understand because vulnerability and myself have never been quite friends. I think sharing or sort of like broadcasting my L's has never been, the level of vulnerability that I kind of like aspire to. But, that's all in the past. We are here now, and I think it's about time. So without rambling on any further, I'm just going to get into the story. So let's go. So as I've already mentioned, I auditioned for Ama Idols for the very first time back in 2016, and the auditions had been held in Carnival City for the Joburg edition. And auditioning for Ama Idols at the time was quite the process. And it's something that I wasn't really privy to until I got to audition for myself. I don't know how much has changed with the introduction of my online audition since COVID happened, but I like to assume that it's pretty much the same thing. So you had to undergo preliminary auditions before you could actually go and audition, in front of the judges. But that's something I'm going to go into detail on when I discuss or talk about, my beef with the Idols as the entire production. But yeah, the judges that were on the panel at the time were Usomizi, Unati, Urandali, and Gareth Cliff. And yeah, so I got into the audition booth and I had to stand on the sign like everybody does. And I remember Gareth Cliff reminding me of the fact that, millions of South Africans were going to see the audition. And immediately I think, Uvalo started settling in. And my mind, my focus sort of like shifted from the audition itself and just went to the outcome that was possible. So I was just thinking to myself, man, if I mess this up, it's going to be so embarrassing and humiliating, and it's going to be a huge L. So it took away from me auditioning, or it took away from me enjoying the audition. And, considering the fact that I'd worked so hard to actually it was quite an achievement to even get there in the first place. It was something else. So I had chosen to audition with Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing, and that's a pretty big song. It was a pretty bold move from me, but that's what I did. And so I had to start singing. I started singing, but instantly my voice ivele yasha, same time. And I remember the judges laughing at the time, but e-system sort of like went down. Everything went dark, but after a couple of seconds everything was back on. So I had to redo my audition from the beginning, to my relief. And I think that the universe was kind of like looking out for me then, because what are the odds?
What are the odds?
What are the odds of that happening? So I had to redo my audition. So I started from the beginning, but when I sang the song and got to the peak where Whitney Houston says, "Stay in my arms,"
sensational.
Like, tilang shaya, guys. My vocal cords literally said, we don't have the capacity.
So we don't have the capacity.
So but I was done with the audition and it was time for the judges to give their feedback. So first to go was Urendal, and Urendal had mentioned something along the lines of the fact that, I was among the best that he'd heard on the day, but he didn't really believe that I had the tool. And at the time I really didn't understand what it was that he was sort of like on about, and it's only in hindsight that I'm able to sort of like or get a clear picture of what it is that he was saying. So basically, when you look at the entertainment industry and the music industry specifically, you look at prominent, artists, and I think a perfect example of that is Beyonce. They have this X factor about them. They have this, I think, commanding presence. They are there and they're present, and they have a star quality about them. And I think when I look back to my audition, it's almost as if I wanted them to convince me that I could sing, as opposed to actually showing them that I could. And I remember my brother saying that I looked as though I was begging for bread, and that man is a villain. I think so, yeah, sometimes he doesn't like me, but yeah, that's what he said. But he also added on the side that he thought I was charming. So yeah, consolation prize. And then Gareth Cliff was next to comment, and yeah, now he echoed Orendal's sentiment about me being charming, and then went on to say that he didn't really believe that I was going to hit those notes. So he was surprised. He was surprised, basically. And in my head I was just thinking to myself, man, do you know who I am? And funnily enough, he actually didn't know who I was. And then it was Usomizi's turn. Usomizi was not pleased with the aesthetic element of my presentation, and he expressed that much himself because he did not mince his words. Utenje mangenu vile was bonelanje a wooden mic contestant, and guys, that really hurt my feelings. Hey, like yay, I'm triggered. And I think at the time I probably did not understand, but now, like, looking at social media, looking at the entertainment industry as a whole, how you look sort of like it matters a great deal. And sometimes even if the look even if the talent doesn't really measure up, how you look sort of like carries you through. When you look at TikTok, for instance, someone just stands in front of a camera and then they don't even say much, but then it's like 150,000 likes, and that's sort of like a societal thing. Desirability kind of like holds a lot of weight. And yeah, and then it was Nati mentioned something about hearing the hoarseness in my voice, but other than that, I really didn't get much of what she said because I had zoned out completely, and I was just thinking to myself, man,
Shut up, bitch! Oh my god!
It brought us to the end of the audition. But one thing I think I took from that, especially, it was something Somizi had said, and that he thought that regardless of everything, he thought I was going to be a superstar. And it's something I've always believed, in myself. So yeah, and yeah, they didn't really outright reject me, but they did reject me at the end of the day. And yeah, to whoever has this picture of me, you've lost your leverage, bruh. Yeah. And guys, I'm going to be singing the song that I auditioned with for you, so you get to be on the judges panel on a different episode. And I hope that you liked this video, even though I'm not much of a storyteller, but I hope that you got the gist at least. So this is me signing out, guys. I hope you stay blessed, and you take care of yourselves. Chap chap.